Now, you've been speaking about a token that you want to make recently.
Yep. Yep.
Tell us, why is it going to be different than the rest?
Yeah.
If you can give us a little
Sure.
detail, because most of the time when you talk about it, it's tough to understand. Can you elaborate on it a little bit?
So most tokens do one of two things. They take a business that has no value at all and already exists in the real world, and then they duct tape a token to it, and then people buy it for stupid reasons, and then their job's done. And then the project fails over time and everyone goes home, and then they do their next stupid token, and then they do their next one. So why is that bad? Because they wasted investors' funds and programmer hours and marketing budgets and consciousness that see those ads. That was all wasted and thrown in the garbage because people like to gamble on stupid things. So you've got three options to prevent that from happening anymore. Option one, and it doesn't work, is that you can tell people it's stupid and compete for eyeballs, but it's asymmetrical. It would take you 10 units of time and $10 of money to out-argue one stupid idea and 1 unit of money, because people are stupid and they're greedy. So telling people about all the bad ideas empties your bank account and those guys still get rich. It doesn't work. So advertising how stupid ICOs are, it just pisses a lot of people off, makes you a lot of enemies, and it isn't actually effective in getting the thousands of people that are going to get screwed to not get screwed. Because I've tried, and Krista Rose has tried, and we're not the first people to try and speak out against scams. Bernie Madoff was a scam, and there was an accountant that mathematically proved that the returns that he provided over the years were possible, and that it had to be a scam. And he submitted those documents to the SEC every year, and he was told to fuck off every year. So, trying to stop people from getting scammed, it's not a winnable game. So what's level two? Level two is you complain to the people whose job it is to prevent people from getting scammed, the regulators, the enforcers. They don't have enough staff. And once again, they're in the same boat that you're in. It's even worse. You can speak out against 10 scams in a week, but you can't file actions against 10 scams in a week. So they're even worse off, right? The worst they can do is overpunish one guy and hope everyone else stops. So that doesn't work. So complaining to the regulators doesn't work, and complaining about how shitty the scams are doesn't work. So what's the only thing that could actually work? The only thing that could actually work is to release enough projects that are better and have real market adoption and have lasting value that outcompete for the same eyeballs and economic energy that the bad things did. That's the only thing that will actually work. So instead of doing the two things that don't work, like I encouraged Chris to send his letter physically to the SEC regarding how bad ICOs were, and I've produced videos and content and still do about how stupid ICOs are. But the only thing that'll actually save thousands of people from getting screwed is giving them something better. And my token will be better. Now, why is that? One, it's an actual breakthrough. It's an actual piece of code that does something that no other code has been able to do. It's 150,000 lines of code that's already written and already exists and already has startups that have used its productive output to fund companies that are worth $60 million and create real products in the real world that, actually exist in the real world, right? And it's done that for several different companies. One is a touchscreen company, one is a drug delivery inhaler company. The stuff actually works and it's fabulous. So having a real product that really works and has shown results, now compare that to all these ICOs that don't even have any product whatsoever, let alone a product that's been tested, let alone 150,000 lines of code. It's just not happening. So now, where else do they fail? They have unproven teams that have never achieved anything before, doing things which are stupid and don't need to be done. So every company that's doing an ICO wants to pretend that they don't have any competitors. They want to pretend that they're the only people doing the thing. They want to pretend that they're a world revolutionizing, buzzword-filled miracle that doesn't have any other people that you can compare them to in the real world, because then they make more money. The reason that they do that is because if you looked, they do have copies in the real world, and those copies don't make any money because a lot of businesses just don't make money. If your business has been around for a long time and the barrier to entry is low, you're not going to make much money. So if you do, let's say, storage, everyone buys their storage at the same place. So you explain to me how buying your storage at the same place at a worse deal as a consumer, and then having a slow internet connection that gets turned on and turned off, and having, since you can't trust the user and his connection to be up, having to replicate that data over more places to withstand that variance. How is that going to make storage cheaper? It's not. So having a centralized company like Backblaze that buys the hard drives by the hundreds of thousands, they get the cheapest price. They have an open source rack solution that they designed, and it's open source, so you can prove it if you want, that holds like 100 hard drives per 4U rack. They have the highest density, the best developers, the best research on what drives fail, what drives don't, which they also open source and make public, which is amazing. Imagine a world where more people made useful data public, right? Great public service, and they get great marketing out of it. How is SIA or StoreJ or Filecoin going to, with its expensive, shitty distributed system, compete with a vertically integrated monster? They can't. It's slower, buggier, more counterparty risk, and like worse in every way. And it doesn't even exist, and it doesn't even work. So if you wouldn't buy Backblaze for 200 million because their margins are too low, why would you buy a shittier copy that's going to create a shittier product for 200 million, and it doesn't even exist yet? Why? Because people are stupid, right? Now, how does something stupid like a storage coin compare with my coin? I have a proprietary piece of CFD code that is faster and more accurate than the industry leader, and the industry leader makes $1 billion of revenue every year. That's a real market with a real company and that company's got 90% market share and hasn't improved their product very much because of it. So we've got a languishing dinosaur that no one likes, that overcharges for their stuff, that we can now implement this solution that already exists. We just add the network components around it, put a GUI on it, right? Because right now the inventor is the only guy that can use it because he knows where to put everything in. We need to make it a little simpler for other people to do that. So we attach the token, we build the GUI or integrate GUIs that are already complete, the people that are used to. On the visualization side, the outputs, much of that is already open sourced and easily used. You know, all those giant racks of computers that you see with blinking lights, they're doing this stuff. They're modeling things. It's one of the only things in the world you actually need that much horsepower for. So anytime you see a rack of servers, they're mostly doing modeling, unless maybe they're serving websites. Maybe, right? Those are the only two things you need giant racks of servers for. Now, whether you consider looking for oil and gas and knowing the right place to drill or not modeling is up to you, but I think that it is. So we've got a $1 billion competitor with 90% market share that's been languishing and not improving their product for 15 years, that no one likes, that overcharges you and charges you more if you want your stuff to go faster. It's a home run, right? It's so good. And then so we have a real product that gets actually adopted and actually performs a retail service better for people that currently pay about $1 billion a year to do the stuff. So that's a win. It's the difference between putting a middleman on top of a commodity that's worth nothing, storage, servers, all the other crap that people take something that's worth nothing, a business that has no proprietary advantages at all, that's been a commodity that's been the same for 20 years, and then they put a network over it and they're like, oh, well, now this is valuable somehow. Look, we have a middleman on top of a commodity that doesn't make much money. We're a more complicated, less convenient, less reliable Amazon Web Services with probably worse pricing. Congrats. I hope you get millions of dollars for your terrible, stupid, dumb business idea, right? So we are not a commodity. This stuff has lots of margin, and it's the whole world of difference, right? Like, this is a business that actually should work and should actually make a lot of money. Those businesses shouldn't be created in the first place. They have no efficiency advantage. They're wasting everybody's time.